Yo, yo, what up, everybody? What it do? What it do? What it do? I feel like I ain't have a fifth quarter done in like, I don't know, I feel like a month, even though I know it had to be a little sooner than that, but that's just the way it feel. It feel like it's been like a month. It's been a very, very long time. I mean, look, at the end of the day, for me, I got a lot that I'm trying to get accomplished out here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I haven't quite had the time to really get on other than just play. You know what I mean? Although although I did see otherwise as far as why it ain't no fifth haven't been no fifth quarters. For some reason, people come up and make their own assumptions about why there hasn't been no fifth quarter. But it's all entertainment, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, we had to get one in here before the playoffs was over with. I wanted to do one when the playoffs first started, the first round. To be honest, that was my goal, but it didn't work out that way. But we here, we here, we getting the fifth quarter in, and it's been a interesting fifth quarter. Thus, I mean fifth quarter. It's been an interesting playoffs so far, and it's actually been before you even get to the playoffs. There's been some shockers that, some things that I didn't see, I didn't expect, but it still ended up happening. But before I get into the recap and the predictions, let me just say the days of me, you know, um, letting people know about what they're not doing. I mean, we all been in these leagues long enough to know, what's what, you know. And so therefore, anything, any rule, anything that you broke or break, it's just straight attention time, as far as, go do what I got to do as far as the penalty. Ain't no more the days of talking about this and that. Them days is over. So some of y'all got some turned down, some grades turn, like some players being turned down coming your way. At this time, everybody know what the rule is as far as switching guys. You got guys switching safeties to linebackers. You got people who streams still ain't fixed on Twitch. I mean, all them days of addressing up them things, them days is over. So ain't nothing to talk about. It's just go and just straight hand out the penalty. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. Nothing else to discuss, really. Just gotta go do what you gotta do and keep it moving. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So some of y'all might be reaching out to the commissioners as far as, yo, I need such and such player turned down. Nah, it ain't turned down because of the season. It's turned down because you breaking rules. So if you look up and you see one of your guys turned down, just do know it came from a very, very specific reason. Because at this point, it really ain't nothing to talk about, you know. But that's that. The we all hear sayings and growing up, you hear these phrases and stuff like that. And some of them you remember, some of them you don't. Some of them sometimes you hear somebody say something and you be like, "Oh, I remember that phrase," right? So you get all those different things. And sometimes it's just remind you of certain scenarios, of certain things that you gotta that comes back to you of what you heard. Now, let me tell you, when it comes to this league, when it comes to these league games, um, there's a such thing that's like for y'all that always hear me do the fifth quarter, y'all have heard me say things like trap games and stuff like that, right? So there's all those things is relevant. You don't wake up and play everybody, you know, tough or at your best. You know what I'm saying? You just don't. That's just reality. Some people you come in and you feel like, all right, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to work on this other part of my playbook and things. Like some people you just don't get up for, right? But the phrase that I was saying was when they say some of y'all probably heard this when they say you should never argue with a fool because people from a distance can't tell who is who, right? Because at the end of the day, no matter how much this person is an idiot or a fool or whatever, if you arguing with this dude, somebody from a distance, they're gonna they're gonna look at you as they don't know who's a fool because you caught up in that mix, right? So that's just what it is with that. Now, Colts, you seem to want a lot of attention for whatever reason. Like you always got you know you just want to be known for, I think you just want to be known for something other than being the worst GM on here or be one or for known as being other than being known for being one of the worst players in history on here. I said I think that's what it is because yes, bro, like this is how you know I ain't playing a minute. I played the Colts. I played the Colts this season, right? And he won, right? And he went on this big campaign as if like, he won the chip or something. Like every time I turned around, I'm seeing him always say something about, the game that he won. And my thing is like, Coach, let me rewind something back for you, Coach Screwball. Let me rewind something. When we played last season for the rights to get to the playoffs, you got blown out from me by me, right? Notice at the end of the game, all I said was "good game" to you. You know why? And mind you, I could have said way more, but my guy, you wasn't even worth it. You understand what I'm saying? Like I knew you was lunch meat already, so I said "good game" and kept it moving. What was to get excited about? You understand what I'm saying? Like like I didn't do nothing that I didn't expect to do. So I said "good game" and I said I was out, in and out like a robbery, in and out. It was nothing else to discuss with you. Said "good game," that was it. You probably thought I was going to say more than what I did just because all the talks that was going on. Cause remember when we go back to last season, I was saying that I had to get a whole new system. So remember I had a crazy record. And remember the Jags? Remember the Jags said stuff like the season was over, and things like that. And I had to get a new system and I was like, these dudes left the door open and they still I was like, yo, y'all left the door open, y'all gave me a shot. And then the funny thing is it came down to games like me against the Jags and me against the Colts for the rights to get in the playoffs. Now, before that, I'm sure they looked and seen that I had to play the Steelers. And if I'd have lost that game to the Steelers, I would have been eliminated. So I'm pretty sure they was looking at that and was like, all right, he lose to the Steelers, he done. No, I beat the Steelers, right? So I beat the Steelers. So now the pressure is on you guys to handle your own business. If Jags would have beat me last season, he would have won the division. He didn't. If the Colts would have won the last game of the season, he would have won the division. He didn't. And all I said was good game after that. That's it. In and out like a robbery. No need for me to go and say nothing else because, once again, you should never argue with a fool because people from a distance can't tell who is who. Okay, screwball. So I ain't got nothing to say to you. Like I expected to win. I knew you were going to win. But that was the more bigger game that mattered than what we played during this season. And again, I didn't even get up for the game or anything. I just played. Now you won the game, cool, no excuses. But I mean, my guy, you the same guy that we've been playing in Madden. We've been playing Madden, I want to say for it's over 10 years. Let's not even say about 10 years. It's more than 10 years. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we've been playing these Madden leagues for about 14 years. maybe even 15, but let's just say 14. Now, granted, you just got down with us on the PS5, so let's just say you ain't played 14 years with us. Let's just say you played 10 years with us. Cool. Screwball, in the 10 years that you played with us, how many times have you made the playoffs? See, I'm just going to give you a little bit of attention because you seem to like a lot of attention, right? Like I say, you seem to like not just want to be known as the guy who's one of the worst GMs, you know. But let me just bring back reality. Let me just bring some clarity to you. Out of the 10 years, let me help you out in case you're trying to, or anybody trying to take a guess. Out of the 10 years that Screwball been playing in these leagues with us, he's made the playoffs not one, not two, not three, but Dunkin' Donut times. You know what glazed Dunkin' Donut means? When you look at a donut, what number does it remind you of? That's right, a zero. It reminds you of a zero. Your man played with us in the league for 10 years, have never made a playoff at all. Never. Never made the playoffs. Guess what, coach? I got news for you. You will never make the playoffs again this Madden. You will never win a division this Madden. And I don't even care about divisions. I'm just saying, you will never make the playoffs, right? Because for whatever reason, if I don't win the division, guess who I got winning the division after me? The Titans. So once again, you will never make the playoffs again. So while you over there sipping on your screwball drinks and your whiskey and all this other stuff that you like to drink, marinate on that a little bit. You know what I mean? So I just can't believe the audacity, the mere gall of some of these dudes out here. Unbelievable. But let's get into these playoffs. I just had to give homie a little bit of attention that he seemed to be craving for. Like, I mean, dude, like seriously, worry about what you got going on over there and worry about making the playoffs for the first time in history. Listen, the playoffs, 60 points seem to be the theme this playoffs. I look around, I see a lot of 60s across the board, First round, second round, 60s, man. Them numbers is to me flying at a higher rate than I would have thought when it comes to the playoffs, because playoffs, I'm thinking, it's going to be a little tougher. But man, 60s is going down like it's week 4 out here. Anyway, look, let me say this to the commissioners. You guys have to do a better job of paying attention to details that need to be done. Because let me tell you what happened that was very dangerous. I had no idea the Ravens and Raiders played 4 or 5 times, right? I haven't been, um, like I haven't been paying attention to, was what when the playoffs started, I was caught off guard, right? But my game was the last game because we just couldn't get on the same schedule, But even with that, you know, I'm hearing a lot of crying and whining about as if like we, you know, took longer than what needed to be done. Like as far as I know, my recollection, the playoffs started Wednesday night. Me and Bills played Friday night. So what was all the noise about? Like I was kind of lost on that. I mean, it's not like the playoffs started Monday and we played Friday. Like I'm trying to understand what was all the noise about. Like we didn't, the time. If this was regular season, only thing we did was miss the advance time by a couple of hours. But I mean, even with that, like goddamn, y'all sitting up here crying as if like we extended days for the playoffs. But anyway, let me just say, like I said, I didn't know that the Ravens and Raiders played that many times. And after I played Buffalo, in a heartbreaking matter, I went to the chat and said, like, if I just would have went to the DM and chopped it up with them and said good game in there, I would have never have caught the Raiders saying make sure y'all set my force win. The only reason I knew to set the Raiders force win over the Ravens is because um DK said, "Yo, please set my force or don't forget my force." So I'm saying if I wouldn't have went to that chat, if I just would have went straight to the DM and said good game and kept it moving, and I would have advanced thinking, all right, well, we the last game, all games are played. I just would have advanced. It's a good thing that I went to the chat and addressed Buffalo because if I didn't, I would have never have known DK said set his force. And I'm saying for us to play at at Friday at 12 o'clock at night, that should have been set already because that would have been a bad, even though that wouldn't have been on me, I would have felt terrible for that game being advanced and the Ravens turned out to win that when he's supposed to lose. So y'all have to make sure that that it gets set. You can't slip on that. Like it's too many mistakes that went down already with us this Madden. I don't even need to talk about what type of mistakes, but we know the mistakes that happen, and this would have been a tough one, And I'm not gonna lie, like I would have been sick if it happened to me. You understand what I'm saying? Because you play all regular season to get to the playoffs, only only for the only for it not to be, you know, only for you not to have your just due when the playoffs come. Nah, man. You know, y'all supposed to play another quarter. I mean, cool, but if y'all didn't, it was supposed something should have been said, and it definitely should have been taken care of, like ASAP. Y'all cannot drag your feet with that. You know what I mean? This ain't no something that we can fix. Like, this ain't nothing that we can fix. If you advance, if you advance a game that you know it can't be fixed in regular season. If it happened in regular season, you sick, but in the playoffs, man, you COVID sick. You really sick because there's nothing that can be done. That you eliminated off a game that you should have won. I mean, but still in all, but when you say that though, bro, he said set his force win. So I mean, I don't know what the communication was between y'all, but he clearly said set his force win in that chat, which means that I guess he took it as, all right, well, we ain't gonna get to play no first, we ain't gonna get to play no one quarter or whatever the case may be. But that's a potential dangerous, hazardous situation that cannot happen. Like when something like that happened, that got to be on top of immediately because again, I'm the one that set the force for him, and I only said it because I seen that he said something. But if I just would have went to the DM because I was that tight about losing or that, crushed about losing, and I wouldn't have went to that chat and just went to the DM and said good game, and then just went to advance, the Raiders wouldn't. It's a potential Raiders wouldn't have made the next round. But anyway, I'm glad I caught it. So it's a mistake that didn't happen. But what I'm saying is that it's too many commissioners in here for a mistake like that to potentially happen. And cool, I get it. They probably didn't know about the y'all supposed to play another quarter or whatever the case may be. But man, we cannot be potentially caught with something like that happening on our watch. That's all I'm saying. But so I don't know, what I mean, what was going on in that game. I don't know if the game was a blow. I don't know if it was a two-score game. I don't know what the history was with that game. But I just know that the Raiders supposed to got the win, and look, good thing that he did get it. Seahawks and Giants. Giants made the playoffs. Actually, he got in over the Cowboys, as far as I could tell. I don't quite know what the Cowboys' record was, but what I'm saying is that, like, I think if the Cowboys was to get in, he'd have been looking at that seventh seed. But the Giants, he got it here, but it's just as fast as he got here, as fast as he went out, he got blown out to the Seahawks. But it's not always about just getting losing or getting blown out. It's about taking notes. Because if you're the Giants, you're looking at the fact of, all right, we made it this year. I think the Giants made it last year too, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But um, the fact that you made it here, listen, what you got to do is just take notes and apply that for next year. You know what I mean? Like you made it. Listen, you got blown out, but at the end of the day, you made the playoffs, man. You know what I'm saying? There's only 7 teams, um, 7 teams per conference that's going to make it. Everybody else is just spectating. You know what I mean? So take notes, bounce back next season. And one thing you do know is that when anybody that played the Giants know, yo, we got to come and get rid of this guy. Steelers and Chargers. Steelers won this one 34-31. Big game James came up short. It's a good win for the Steelers. He won this one at home. This one looked like it came down to the very end. I didn't get a chance to see this, but looking at the score, it definitely came down to maybe a last second field goal, a big stop, or something like that of that nature. But Steelers hung on to win this game. Two good users, and the score reflected that. Steelers went ahead and moved on. Eagles and Rams. Eagles put up 62. Like I said, 60 plus seemed to be the number this playoff. A lot of 60s going around. They won 62-48. And the Rams, like I said, for the Rams, his problem haven't been scoring the ball. He scored that ball. His defense just seemed to let him down, and at the most, biggest times, and he came up, lost by 14, 2 scores. But if I'm the Rams, Dre, this is a good bounce back, from last season. Last season you had about, I think, what, 2 wins? Oh, I don't even know if it was two. It's anywhere between 1 to 3 wins or something like that. So you went from that to making the playoffs. That's a great bounce back, bro. You know what I mean? Great bounce back. And you definitely gave the Eagles, all that he can handle at the end of the day. You put up 48. You just let him score 62. So if I'm the Rams, I'm upset that we let the Eagles score that much, but at the same time, I'm also happy with the big step that he took. Listen, man, the reality is everybody not gonna win the bowl. Meaning it only could be one Super Bowl winner every year. So you gotta just take the gradual steps that you need, to get you to where you're trying to get to. If you're a team that's winning 4 games a season, 5 games a season, listen, if you miss the playoffs next year and you won 7 games, yo, listen, take that as a positive step. You know, I mean, if anything, like, yeah, I get it. You saying, yo, I want to make the playoffs, this and that. I get it, but everybody can't make the playoffs. You know what I mean? So it's like Rams had a heck of a bounce back season to get to this point. And again, he put up 48. So heading into the offseason, the Rams know, yo, fellas, offense ain't the issue. We can score. We can score with anybody. We just got to get the stops that we need. That's what let the Rams down. Texas and Bills, man, this was probably the best game of the first round from looking at the scores. Well, then you had Steelers and Chargers, but I'm pretty sure this was a better game due to what happened. I mean, like, man, we was up 10. We was up 10 points in the fourth quarter, with like 5 minutes and change left, and could not hold on to the lead to save our life. A lot of things happen in this game too that's just difference makers. Early in the game, we hit one of our receivers in the end zone. He was wide open. Just that he got hit before he came down. He didn't hold on to the ball. So instead of it being a touchdown, it turned into a field goal. You know what I'm saying? It was little things like that that happen that, definitely keeps another team in the game, and et cetera and et cetera. But man, this was a crushing loss for us. To be up 10 in the fourth quarter, we gotta finish that game. There's no way we supposed to come out with an L. We gotta finish that game. But I give props to the Bills because he made some big time plays. He he made a big fourth down play against us to continue his drive. If he don't get this fourth down play, game over. He got that. He got that play off. He ended up getting a touchdown. Then he got a huge fourth down stop on us. And we could have punted the ball, but we went for it in his territory, and we could have punted and played D because we played good defense. We played good defense all game. You know what I mean? Like when you look at that score and you look at all the other scores, this game was one of the most low scoring games of the round. So the defense was doing their part. So we should have gated it. But then again, we only needed the yard. And yeah, we could have ran the ball and all this stuff, but we tried to catch him slipping. We thought he would be expecting to run. We were trying to, but and we didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, at the end of the day, we shake the Bills' hand though. That man showed up and pulled out a tough one, and that was a playoff win at that. That wasn't no regular season week 10 victory. That was a playoff win. So Bills earned that, man. He earned that win. Um, and he moved on to the next round. But that was a great game, though. You know what I'm saying? It's a game I felt like I shouldn't have lost, but at the same time, hey, that's what happens, man. When you don't do what you're supposed to do, things like that can happen. And the Bills sent us to Heartbreak Hotel. You know what I'm saying? Of all the times to get sent to Heartbreak Hotel, the playoffs is not the time that you want to check in and have to be in Heartbreak Hotel. But man, oh man, did he send us there and take care of his business? Then you had the Bears and Packers. Bears won this one 45-14. Ran away with this one. Uh, from what I remember, they was playing in blizzard-like conditions. That's not an advantage to anybody because both of them teams play in the same type of conditions. But the Bears seem to adapt way better, and the Bears won this one in big fashion, put up 45 points. You would think in those type of conditions, you would see a score like 17-14, 21-17, something like that. Nah, for whatever reason, the Bears played like it was sunny out, put up 45 points, didn't let the Packers get off at all. Bears won this one in big time fashion. Then we on to the next round, which is the divisional round. Uh, you had the Colts. I mean the Colts. You had the Bills and Dolphins face off. Listen, when you the Bills, you grateful for opportunities. There's a great chance the Bills don't get to play this game. He pulled off a tremendous win against the Texans, and he rolled with. But let me tell you something about these two games. I'm not playing the Bills. Me and Bills don't play if it's regular season. You know why? We played at we played at 12:30 at midnight. I don't play games at that time. I don't play games at that time. But if this was regular season, we wouldn't have not have played. You know, but we played, we played, and I'm just saying. So I'm saying that to say it's not about my game. I'm talking about. I'm just saying the Bills. I don't know if I don't know if the Bills is on East Coast. I think Bills is East Coast. Yeah, Bills is East Coast. Bills on my time. So when we played, it was 12:30 at night. When we finished, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, which means that when he played the Dolphins, it was 2 o'clock in the morning on his time, and for Miami, it was what 11 o'clock at night, which is a whole different time. 2 o'clock in the morning to be playing a playoff game is very, very, dangerous territories. Now, what's crazy about this is that I didn't think this game was going to get played. I didn't think this game was going to get played. Um, but when you somebody like the Dolphins who 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 believed that his own ish didn't stink. I mean, he didn't care. He was running to play this, and I'm telling you right now, Buffalo came into this game on a high. You know, that's why I went back to my game in Buffalo. So you got to understand when Bills pulled out that win against me, that was a great win, right? And he's on a cloud right now, as he should be, by the way. Um, to me, it's almost like when you get the first round bye, and then you the team that play in the first round. First round buys to me has always been overrated. Uh, for Madden's for years doing this, we've seen many teams be on a first round bye and lose their first time out. first game out. So to me, first round buys, first the number one seed is overrated. A lot of times I say the team that win the first round comes into the second round with some momentum. They come into that first round, they just played, they fresh, they come into that next round with some grit. The Buffalo came into that next round and played minutes after he just played. You understand? So he was already hyped, amped. You know what I'm saying, for what he did, and for him to play this game at 2:30 in the morning, I gotta salute that man on that because that's something that that's something that I don't think too many guys will do at this stage, right? Like Buffalo had no reason to play this game at two o'clock in the morning. He just played at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, yo, bro, I had a long damn time. We play tomorrow. But the Dolphins was rushing them because, he really felt like he was gonna win this game. I mean, when you go out and say things like, the only team that you got to worry about is the Raiders, you can't now double back and then try to say, you know, you was going to play Buffalo, you didn't really want to play him because it was 5 times. But I mean, I don't want to hear all that though, because if it was e-ball, you wouldn't have said that or you wouldn't have had that. So it's like you can't say, one time, yo, all I'm worrying about is the Raiders. Everybody else in the AFC is lunch meat. You know what I mean? Well, all right, cool. I mean, listen, and I'm not, and at the end of the day, here's the reality. I'm not even mad at for him. I'm not even mad at him for him saying what he was saying because at the end of the day, he only had one loss. You know what I'm saying? But there is sometimes a thing that's called going a little overboard. I mean, I get it. If he was in the bowl, saying them things, and cool, you know what I'm saying? But a game wasn't even played yet, and you know, it's just it just goes to show, like, listen, man, regular season is regular season. Number one seed is number one seed. But at the end of the day, you still gotta get on the field and take care of your business. But listen, Miami had a great season. Like, this ain't for me. I ain't getting on here to even really say that he did anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's just that, you got to understand, I think the Dolphins ultimately, if you want my personal opinion, I think the Dolphins put more pressure on itself than what needed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, you number one seed, let you just go out and play. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the extra antics that was shown blown in for what? Because the reality of it is, if this is week 11, I don't think Buffalo wins like this. Not saying that Buffalo, not saying that Buffalo wouldn't have won or couldn't win. But at the end of the day, I think that, you came into this game putting a target on your back, and when you did all of that talking that you're doing, when you go down 14-0, and again, I didn't see the game, so I don't know what happened. But what I'm saying is that when you put that much pressure on you, when you go down 14-0, even if it's 14-0 in the first quarter, you go into panic mode, feeling like you down 14 in the fourth quarter, and now you start just playing reckless, because you did all this talking, and it's like, granted, no matter what, you down a little bit, but you playing like you done a lot because you trying to prove a point, But hey, man, at the end of the day, I give Buffalo all the credit in the world, because that man played at 2 o'clock in the morning. He was fresh, he was amped, and the reality of it is that the game wasn't even close though. Like, it was a straight blowout. Like, so and the same could be said for both opponents. That's the thing. When you're in the division with somebody, I always say that because I say the same thing about with the Raiders, right? I've always said things like that with the Raiders. I said, yeah. I mean, look, the thing about it is that is true. Calm, you're right. I do remember that. I do remember that. But the thing about it is that you know sometimes when people feel like they run a little scheme or whatever, it can make the tendency of them forget, certain things. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, uh, my thing is calm with all that you just said. Then why was the beating of the chest going on? You understand what I'm saying? Because you know, those are things that you shouldn't forget about. Like at that point, it should be in your mind. It should be in your mind that oh, I gotta play this dude, man. I gotta come A1. You should be blowing past certain teams as if like well, that was then, this is now. Nah, it don't matter. Yeah, it always matters what's at this point. It always that is true. It does matter what's going down at this point. But at the same time, you can't change history neither, right? So if you did certain things, that can't be taken away, and that's not going to be forgotten, especially from the person that did it. So when you somebody like the Bills who just said what he just said, in his mind, he like, yo, I don't care what Miami doing this season. I know what's happened in the past between us. So nobody else gonna remember that, but he gonna remember that. But no, correction. The Dolphins gonna remember that too, because it happened to him. But for him to just, act like Bills is, because I've never for Buffalo, I've never looked at Buffalo like, a non threat. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta look at Buffalo like a threat, you know. But again, it was just, if the Raiders, if the Raiders, if the Raiders don't get it done, I'm off to the bowl type of talk. And the thing about it is that, as great as season he had, he got bounced out the first game he played, and it wasn't even close, But I mean, look, at the end of the day, you just got to come back next season. But great win for Buffalo, man. Like I said, for me, the biggest thing was the fact that he played 2 o'clock in the morning. It was like for him to take that game, he knew something that that the Dolphins didn't know, right? Because he didn't need to wait till the next day. He didn't need to do anything. He just said, "Yo, bet I won my first game. I'm playing my next one." You know what I'm saying? And man, so which means that if they played 2 o'clock in the morning, the game wasn't over to what, three, after 3 in the morning. Man, that's big. That's big. That's big. Big. That's big game. Experience right there. Big game win. Big time win for the Bills. Bears and Bucks. Um, Bears on one right now. He won 38-34. The number one seed over here got eliminated. Again, like I say, to me, number one, but guys like Murph though don't care about no number one seeds. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying? I know. Um, but yeah, the Bucks. One thing I know about Murph, he don't care about number one seed. Now if he got a chance to get it, he'll take it, but he don't really care about the number one seed. But he had number one seed, and once again, number one seed got bounced out the first game. I said, to me, the number one seed is cool, right? If you got a chance to get the bye, why not get it, right? Because you that's one less game you have to play. That's the reality of number one seed. But the other part, number one seed, is when you play a tough seeded Bears. He another one that came into this game with some confidence on 1,000. Not to say that he don't have confidence already, but he beat it. He blew out a good team, the Packers, in the first round. That was a good team that he blew out. You know what I mean? And you can't tell me after he blew the Packers out, he didn't come into this next matchup feeling real like high on some old, yo, yeah, let's get it. He had to come into this game like that because the Packers is not one of them type of teams. When you look at that score, you don't expect the Packers to lose like that. So the fact that the Bears did that, he definitely came into this game. Man, what's going on? Am I on? Am I still alive? Man, I don't know. I don't know what that was about, but that joint just popped up with some weird error message or whatever. But yeah, the like I said, the Bears. This is a big win right here for the Bears against the Bucks because um this is definitely this is definitely something that many would have took the expected the Bucks to win, but man, the Bears pulled this out. It's a big win for the Bears, man. But again, Addison is somebody that, just because he's not in the chat a lot, don't mean he ain't nobody that's not somebody that know how to play. Addison is somebody that definitely knows how to play. You know what I mean? And it's like guys that's not in the chat that don't talk a lot, don't take that for granted. You gotta put some respect on these guys' names, and Addison is one of those guys. So great win for the Bears, man. They won 38-34. Uh, so and look, like I say, the interesting thing for the Bears is that it's all being done on the road. You know, as well as the same thing for the Bills. So all being work done on the road. And you got to tip your hat to them teams even more because they ain't no home field advantage. They going on the road and they putting in work. So the Bears, man, they looking like a team right now, and I'm telling you right now against the Eagles, I expect this game to come down to that fourth quarter because I don't see the Eagles coming out um, scoring those 60 plus points against this Bears team. I really don't see that happening. But then again, if the Bears, the Bears going to have to make sure he come on his A1 with the defense to not allow that to happen. Um, then you had Steelers and Raiders. And after a first round close matchup against the Chargers, the second round was not close at all. The champs, the defending champs, still in this thing, still in this thing to go back to back. Won 68-17, blew the Steelers out. You know, yeah, it just dawned on me that I seen somebody say emergency fifth quarter. I mean, look, I'll do fifth quarter whenever I can. You know, I don't not do a fifth quarter because, it's certain things I don't want to talk about. I just, if I get a chance to, if I get a chance to, get one in, I'm gonna do it. That's what it is. But again, I don't have to be the only one to do the fifth quarter. That's the other part. How many times have I said any of the commissioners could do a fifth quarter? you know. And in case y'all don't know, that's Bap, that's G, that's Dwayne, that's Pearl, that's Relly. Any one of them could do a fifth quarter. Just because I didn't get chance to do a fifth quarter, y'all know what to do. I ain't doing nothing no different than what anybody else can do. Get on here, go live, talk about the games that happen, talk about the games that's gotta be up, that's up and coming. That's it. Anybody could do a fifth quarter. You know what I'm saying? There's no fifth quarter that's, yo, only Q could do that. I ain't never make no statement to say, yo, only I'm doing fifth quarter. No, man. Anybody could do a fifth quarter. Anybody can get on here. Any one of the commissioners could get up here and do the fifth quarter. Simple as that. Simple. Anybody. Anybody can do the fifth quarter. Um, Raiders blew out the Steelers. Listen, man, this man's the champ, and he's the champ for a reason. And when you blow out a good team like the Steelers like this ain't nothing to take lightly. You know, oh my bad. I didn't say you, Josh. I had to say you, Josh. Josh, you could do it too. Really, when you say your game don't record your voice, that's because it's on mute, my guy. All you gotta do is go to the settings. All you gotta do is go to the settings. That's it. Like, it's because when I first, because I know what you're talking about. When I first first copped this PS5, and I remember when I tried to start going live, I had a hard time figuring it out, and that was with the headphones on. I'm like, yo, why I can't record my voice? Like, but then it's in the settings. It's a simple fix, yo. And listen, I'm not saying that y'all need to do it. I'm just saying, like, if y'all see that, yeah, I've been said that special guests. I'm always down for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm always down to bring back special guests. But again, um, yeah, anytime any of y'all want to get on and do it, that's fine. It ain't no problem, you know. But yeah, the champ, man, the champ is the champ for a reason, you know. He he wasted no time in getting into it with this game to get this game over with, you know. 68-17, another 68. Like I said, 68, 60. These numbers is flying around. Um, Listen, man, the champ is nothing to be played with. You know what I mean? Like it ain't no way around it. Like he is the dude right now to take down. Although you'll hear a lot of talk as if like other people was already the champs, but this is the champ right here. The Raiders, and he looking to repeat. Eagles and Seahawks. Eagles won this one 52-25, dominated the Seahawks. I mean, look, the crazy thing about this game is that they played not too long ago in the regular season, and the Eagles the Eagles blew the Seahawks out then, and the Seahawks was saying that he got caught off guard with the Eagles playing different, but I mean, at the end of the day, uh, what difference does it make how somebody plays? It's on your job to stop it. You know, if you play a team and they running back had 14 catches and that's what killed you, that's on you. You got to own that. Like that's not for me to take a shot and say, yo, you killed me. Your running back had, well, yeah, guess what? Then you shouldn't have let my running back have 14 catches. That's it. Simple as that. You know, but the Eagles, once again, knocking that Super Bowl's door. He's off to the NFC chip. I think the Eagles, I could be wrong, but I feel like he made the nah, he didn't make the I'm about to say I feel like he made the NFC chip every season. But I don't think that was the case. I think last season he did. I don't think he did the first season because I think the first season Packers played the Bucks. But Eagles, man, he's look, the only problem that the Eagles have been having the first couple of seasons that I always used to talk about, he'll score 65 but give up 40, you know what I'm saying, 40 plus, you know. Um, but that defense over there has gotten a lot better. He'll still have a game where he'll give up 50 points, but I mean, haven't we all? You know what I mean? Like that's just been the thing. You know what I mean? But Eagles still a team to be reckoned with, absolutely. And they moved on. They blew out the Seahawks. I thought this game would have been closer than what it was, but when you look at it this year, uh, the Eagles, man, they've been one of the most dominating teams every year. And you got to figure you keep knocking at the door. Eventually, it got to open, right? It don't matter if it don't happen now, but you feel eventually it got to happen. Is this the season? The Eagles get to that Lombardi. I mean, you got to go through a tough Bears team, but this is a good win though over the Seahawks, man. Great win over the Seahawks. Uh, so yeah, so now we are in the current round. And this is the conference championship round. You got the champs going against the Bills. Um, and the Bills, what's interesting about this game is that the Bills have is coming to this game juiced up right now. Meaning like his confidence is through the roof. And then you got the champs that's coming in here whose confidence is on the roof as well. But why? Because they're the champions, right? They're one step away from getting back to the Super Bowl back to back years and winning it back to back years. So this game right here to me is about who can do what it is that they do. You know, we know what the Bills like to do, and we know what the Raiders like to do. Who can slow down which team from doing what they like to do? The key is in any game, you always want to try to make somebody fight to their weaker hand. You know, if you right-handed, you want to take away the right and play them left. You know, that's basketball terminology. If they left-handed, you want to take away the left and play them right. So that's the goal, is to take away what they do best. Which team can execute that the best is what's this game going to come down to. Now, what the Bills cannot do is he cannot come into this game no longer thinking about that Miami game. That game is over with. That game is done with. I know a lot of was said about that game because the Bills won, but the reality is the Bills, that's over with, right? You in the conference finals. The goal is to get to the bowl. So you are one step away from that as well. So forget about that Miami game. Forget about that heartbreaking game that you sent the Texans home with. He got to focus on this game. Forget about all the noise. Forget about all of what people still saying about you blowing up Miami. Forget about that, bro. That game means nothing coming to this one. It don't matter what that final score was, Miami. That happened then. It's a new round. Don't care about what happened with Miami. You know what I mean? Forget about that. Focus on this game right here. And if you the Raiders, if you the champs, forget about you being the champ last season. Forget about you just blowing out the Steelers. He gonna lock in, or he should be focused on this game as well, which I know he will be. The reason why I put more emphasis on Buffalo being locked in this game because people were still celebratory from the game he beat Miami. Don't get caught up in that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Forget about that. That Miami game, you beat Miami. If you lose this game, you ain't gonna be caring about that Miami game no more. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna look back and be like, "That we was right there to get to the bowl," and you got a chance to knock off the defending champions. Lock in on that. You know what I mean? Now, before I do a prediction for this game, let me go to the NFC. You got Eagles and you got the Bears. You got the Eagles here as the 3 seed going against the 4 seed Chicago Bears. When you look at this matchup, when you look at this matchup right here, this um this is one of them games where like the Bears are not known for scoring 60 points. So you have to say to yourself, we can't let this game be high scoring if you're the Bears. If you're the Eagles, you're accustomed to scoring 60 points. If you're the Eagles, you're saying, listen, the goal is to shut them down. But if defense, don't worry about only allowing 20 points. Offense, let's score as many points as we can. Let's do what we do. Let's let him chase us. Let's see if he can keep up. Let's make this a racetrack because that's just what the Bills, that's just what the Eagles, that's just what it is. These dudes are one of the best scoring teams in the league, so at this point, you ain't trying to make this game be 28-24. You like, yo, listen, we trying to score 60, 70 points in Bears. If you could keep up, keep up. If you the Bears, you don't want it to go like that route. You want this thing to be hovering around, 30. If you can keep it to 40, that's 40. That's under what the Eagles is averaging. You want to keep it to what the Eagles is averaging. Keep it under than what the Eagles is averaging. So that's what you looking for in this game. The Eagles looking for this to be a racetrack. The Bears looking for it to slow down. In this one, you looking for who can stop who from getting each other in that other person's bag. Who can slow the other person down from doing what they like to do. Josh Allen is one of them guys that can do anything. He can kill you on the ground as much as he can in the air. To go with James Cook, the running back. That's a deadly combination over there. And then you going against the team, the champs, who got probably the fastest receiver in the game, 99 speed, if I'm not mistaken, who's also tall. So you got a tall 99 speed receiver over there that's always requiring attention, on deep routes and stuff like that. So it's like, who can slow who down? That's the question of this round, this matchup. Um, my prediction pick for the Eagles and Bills. I feel like the Bills is coming to this game with a lot of um emotion, highlighted emotion wins. I feel like he's sometimes just about destiny, right? But then you going against a champ who who's been blowing out the company. I don't know if he blew out the Ravens. I don't know if that game was a blowout, but he blew out the Steelers. Um, I'm guessing that Raiders and Ravens game had to be a blowout as well, because if it wasn't, I don't see the Ravens just saying, I would have gave him the win anyway if they didn't play the one quarter. So I'm going to take it as the Raiders was up comfortably in that one. So the Raiders, the champs right now, has been snowboarding over here in the AFC. So with that being said, you got the champ going for back-to-back repeats. I mean, back-to-back champions, Super Bowl champions. I'm going to go with the Bills in an upset just because I think it's something special going on right now in Buffalo. I'm going with Buffalo in an upset. I know many would pick the Raiders in this point. I'm not mad at anybody for picking the champs at this point, but I don't know, man. Sometimes there is a thing called destiny, and this might be one of them seasons where destiny is on Buffalo's side. I mean, when you look at everything up to this point, you're like, yo, Buffalo is a pretty, dangerous team. But now, even with me picking Buffalo, if the Raiders win this game by 3 scores, would I be surprised? No, I won't, because the champ is that good. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders blow out Buffalo. Now, I will say this. I will be surprised if Buffalo blow the Raiders out. That I will say. Even with me picking Buffalo, I think it's still going to be a close scoring game if Buffalo wins. But if the Raiders win, yes, the game could be close, but there's also a chance the Raiders can blow Buffalo out. Does Buffalo have anything left in the tank? I think he does. Listen, when you play 2 o'clock in the morning, I think you got something left in the tank. So I got Buffalo in a close one in this one to win this. I'm gonna go Buffalo 44, Raiders, the champs, 40, Eagles and Bears. In this one, you have a close one I expect as well. Um, this is a tough one to call too. I'm gonna go with the I'm gonna go with the it's a tough one. And I know the first one should have been that tough, but at least I got destiny on Buffalo side. I don't know which way to go in this one. Um, 'Cause both of these teams got some impressive wins. Both of these teams, I respect their games highly. You know, there's no other way to put it. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles is home, so I'm gonna go with the Eagles in this one over the Bears. But I like this Bears team, man. They come, they play. They play, man. So I gotta go with the Eagles in this one, but I'm telling you now, if the Bears win this one, do not be surprised at all, you know. But I gotta go with the Eagles, man. They home. If this game was in Chicago, honestly, I would go with Chicago. But because it's in Philly, I'm gonna go with Philly in this one, man. Um, I'm gonna take the Eagles over the Bears. I do not think the Bears is going to let Philly score a lot of points, though. Well, when I say a lot of points, mean like the 60s. But I do think Eagles still managed to put up enough to get it done. So I'm going to say Philly 44, Bears 37. 44-37, Eagles over the Bears. Um, this is going to be a great round right here, man. It's going to be a great round. Again, to all those that tuned in late, there's a few sanctions that's going to be handed down. We all been in these leagues long enough to know rules, do's and don'ts, and some of y'all still don't have y'all stream things situated, so there's nothing to talk about with that. Some of y'all moved safeties to linebackers. Y'all know that's a broken rule. There's nothing to do about that. I mean, nothing I can say. There's nothing to talk about with that. So yes, um, I will let y'all know the commissioners. I will let y'all know what teams is being so should these two teams come to y'all and say, can you fix my player? Y'all will now know the answer is no, because the player didn't get turned down from the season. It got turned down to rules being broken. So I'll let y'all know what teams that is, but there's no need for me to talk about anything. And the reason why I'm not saying the teams on here is because I really don't even want to hear what the excuse is. There is no excuse. That's the only reason why I'm not saying the teams, which teams it is, because there's nothing to even try to say to make me understand at this point. We all know what's what at this point. So there's no need for you to even try to even pitch a case. You pitching the case is make me want to even do even more damage. So it's better for me not to even say anything. But come on, man, like you can't be, you know, just feeling like you're just gonna do whatever. Still at this point, like, come on now, we've been playing this too long not to know certain things. So and it's like, all right, and if you do decide that you want to jump out there and try to get over, then oh, I don't even want to say get over. Well, yeah, I will say get over on some instances, and then just feel like some things could just fly under the radar, and it might, but when it gets caught, oh man, then that's a whole new conversation, you know. And the fact that we in season 3 and things like this happening, which means that it's severe penalties coming. Meaning it ain't gonna just be one player. I don't even know what I'm doing just yet. It might be one player turned down, some other guys' attributes turned down, but some of you guys got some penalties coming your way. Just know that, because at this point there's no excuse for nothing. There's no excuse for anything. So, I didn't do it though. Just know I ain't do it. Just know I'm not responsible for it. I'm not responsible for this. What I'm going to do. You're responsible. That's all. That's all. But because I don't just wake up to just you know do something unless it's warranted. You know what I'm saying? Like, and come on, man. How easy is it to do little simple things or not do certain things? Like, come on, man. What we even talking about at this point? But 2 games left for the playoffs. Um, which means that it's looking like the new season is going to kick off uh, this week, which I hate. Me personally, um, I hate doing off seasons on weekdays. You know what I'm saying? Because those are definitely the busiest days for me. With everything that be going on. So I definitely would rather the weekend, but unfortunately, it looks like that's not going to happen unless the bowl gets played like on a Wednesday or something like that. Then we can space it out. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the Eagles saying he playing tonight. My guess is Raiders and Bills playing playing today as well. But again, you don't know what people got going on to say, what somebody should be doing or what they are doing. You just gotta wait. You gotta understand, man. Even though we make it look easier, it's not easy. It's not as easy as some of y'all make it out to be to play these games. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what people got going on, and you be like, an hour, yeah, sitting down for an hour to play a game can be a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know. It definitely could be difficult. You know, like people got stuff going on, and that's just what it is. You got to respect people's times. You know. Now, Huff, you've been in these leagues long enough. So are you one of them guys that just throw things at the wall hoping that it stick? Because when you say let's do everything tonight, how is that even possible? Now, since you said it, let me hear you walk me through this. How can we do everything tonight since you put it out there? I mean, I want to hear, I want to hear, I want to hear you, bring me through this to make me understand this. You know what I mean? Help me understand this, Huff. You said let's do everything tonight. So how can we do everything tonight? I'm all ears. 'Cause I'm always down for a good idea. And I'm always down to listen to a good idea. So walk me through it, Huff. How can we do everything tonight? Let me hear this one. Oh, you press box. I mean, you putting it out there, you saying stuff. So I mean, I figured that, you wanted to elaborate on that. But yeah, like yeah, so again, respect people's times, man. You know what I mean? Like some people go through stuff behind the scenes that's not meant for everybody to even know about or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I know that personally from talking to people in DMs. Everything ain't gonna be brought to the chat. You know what I mean? But it's like you never know what people dealing with to always be just saying something about, yo, what y'all doing or when y'all playing or why this game ain't playing. Like, yo, if you knew what you knew, then you wouldn't be saying certain things. So sometimes it's just best to just sit and wait. You know what I mean? And the reality is most of y'all in this league probably in another league anyway. So why y'all be sitting up here acting like y'all waiting for something to pop off all the time in this league? Most of y'all, I'm sure, is in at least one more league, you know. But but again, like I don't know why it seems like, and yeah, like he just said, sign your players, man. You know what I'm saying? So make sure all y'all guys is signed. Now, the reality of it, when it comes to re-signing players that I'm well aware of, yes, if you trying to franchise tag somebody, you cannot do that now. I understand that, so I got that part of it. But to anybody, you still have the ability right now to go and re-sign players that you want to re-sign for multiple years. That's still an option. So yes, granted, franchise tag you cannot do right now. I understand that. But yes, you can still re-sign your guys instead of just waiting, till, we get to that point. So make sure y'all got everything that y'all need to take care of y'all end, and when it's time to it, we can go through things as quickly as we need to. But again, for guys that feel like they want to franchise guys, I understand this point of the franchise. I mean, at this point, a re-sign is not for y'all. I understand that, but for anybody else, you don't have to wait until we get to that stage. You can go and take care of your business right now. But yeah, we got 2 games left for the season. I think next season is going to bring even more fireworks to the table. You know, you losing guys. Um, How you losing all your guys, Josh? Well, obviously you don't have the money, but I mean, well, you know what? I ain't even gotta ask you. I know what you did. Don't even tell me yet, Josh. Let me answer this for you. Guys that you could have traded, guys that you had to be signed that you could have traded, you probably tried to keep them to use them to compete. That's the only thing that I can look at and figure out, you know, because you can look at guys and be like, well, I ain't gonna be able to sign them, but you'll try to keep them to compete with them instead of just throwing in the towel. That's the logical explanation for somebody like yourself who make the playoffs. Um, that's what I would think. Oh, well, then yeah, then there's that part. But yeah, I mean, look, that's a decision that's a decision that you're left with sometimes, you know. But what trade did he make? What are you talking about? What trade did he make that messed up his cap? Oh, speaking of trades too, uh, I've noticed since I said that the trades go through me, it's been a huge dial back with trades now. I didn't see as many trades this season as it was the other ones because I guess y'all already knowing that the buffoonery, you know, I'm not entertaining. So ain't been nobody coming at me with no trades. Oh, the Bosa trades. Yeah, I mean, me personally, I didn't understand why you traded for Williams and Bosa. Like if you took one of them, then you know. Oh, okay. I mean, look, you know what you sign up for when you take the Cowboys, bro. Like Cowboys, one of them teams that you gotta build through the draft with. You know what I'm saying? But that's not just the Cowboys. That's everybody. You gotta build through. You gotta try to build through the draft. Like you know what I mean? But yeah, man. Like I've noticed that. Yeah, the trades. I'm glad the trades came up. I've noticed since I said trades got to get sent through me. I'm pushing the button on the trades. It ain't no more of commission majority vote stuff. I've noticed that um it haven't been no trades coming through. What happened to all the trades? You know, all the silly trades at that, you know? Um Press box 49ers, you was one of the ones that made a silly trade this past season. You know, I still don't understand what the purpose of that trade was for, but but you know, the good news is you ain't the only one that make them silly trades. You know, I don't understand, man. Like I say, y'all was trading like it was going out of business. Now ain't been no trades because y'all already knowing that I'm already gonna. You don't know what I'm gonna say. Just make the trade make some type of sense. Let me tell you something. There's and when it comes to a trade, let me just say this: there's always a winner and a loser. It's very rare you'll get a trade and it's for equal value. You know, um, you say you regrouping this season, but that's the thing, though, bro. Like, what kill me with guys like you, Huff, is that when you go out and you say we regrouping this season, when the reality is you didn't even need to regroup. Like my thing is like some of y'all just make trades because for what? Like it just seems like it's a cool thing to do. Like I don't understand that, man. Like that joint is crazy, yo. Like, nah, that's not why I stopped. Cause I've been said all trades. Right around the time when you made that silly trade with the Commanders is when I started talking about, yo, and that was like I don't even know, that had to be like week 3, maybe even week 4 that you made that trade with the Commanders. It ain't been no DMs at all about trading at all. But again, let me just say, there's always a winner and a loser when it comes to trade. And I'm not here to deny that. There's no such thing as equal value for the most part, right? But my thing is to make sure that the trades ain't 90-10 or 95-5. You know, like, yeah, thank God it's only three. Because if it was more than three trades, some of y'all teams would be looking like the practice squad teams. Like that's the reality of it is some of y'all trades be looking like the practice squad teams, and then y'all keep saying, well, next season we'll get this. Yeah, no, don't forget about the next season. This season, focus on that. But yeah, man, some of y'all teams will look like practice squad teams if there wasn't no trade minimum. You know, uh, there is no there. I try to just make trades not be 90-10 or 95-5, and in some of y'all cases 97-3, right? I try to make trades be as fair as as I can, and it also decides who's involved in the trade because what some of y'all don't seem to understand is some of y'all first is the top 10 pick. Your top 10 first or top five purse is not the same as somebody who got the 26th pick in the first round. Like, y'all haven't figured that out yet. Like, you just think because you see two firsts that that's saying something. Yeah, man, y'all don't, but again, I'm not even getting into this whole trading thing. I just wanted to shed light on, since I said that the trades got to go through me, there haven't been no trades. There haven't been no trades really that's been going down all of a sudden. So I don't believe in coincidences. So I know that's not a coincidence, but we'll see what happened this upcoming season. I'm already know I'm going to be denying trades that come through, but we'll see how many come through is my thing. Yeah, there'll be some trades, but how many? Because it's the trade slowed down a lot. You know, the trade slowed down a lot. And I think, and I truly believed, and I always said it, instead of some of y'all trading, y'all need to just keep your own players, build through the draft, and build your own team instead of worrying about taking on somebody else's situation. I've always said that, but that seems to go over some of y'all heads. You know what I mean? Like you'll go out and say you need a receiver or a running back, trade your first, which is a top 10 pick, to get a receiver or a running back, and go get one in that position, but what is older. Make that make sense for me. I'll never understand it, but hey, if it ain't if it ain't in the picture, it just ain't in the frame. Bottom line. But I'll see you on the next fifth, man. I'm about to get up out of here, you know what I mean, and do some running around for the day. But good luck to everybody that's left, and I'll see y'all on the next fifth for Super Bowl. Unless, look, I'm definitely going to try to get the fifth in for the Super Bowl. But hey, if y'all happen to knock these games out today and Super Bowl getting played in the afternoon, then I'm not here to do a fifth, obviously. But yeah, same to you, bro. But if I come back around and if we at the Super Bowl and ain't get played, then yeah, I'll load up and do a Super Bowl fifth. You know what I mean? So I would love to do Super Bowl fifth, and I would love to bring. Matter of fact, I would love to do Super Bowl fifth and bring the two contenders on for the fifth quarter. You know what I mean? So if it's the Raiders and Eagles, I would like to have DK and G on the fifth with me. You know what I'm saying? I think that'll be dope. You know what I mean? But again, I'm not going to slow down the league just to do that. Like if y'all rocking and rolling and y'all knocking these games out, then go ahead. By all means, y'all handle your business. But if it comes to if it gets set up to where is that we at the bowl and I'm doing the fifth and the two contenders is around, get on the live with me, and we'll do the fifth that way. Because at that point, it's nothing to talk about except the one last game and the recap that just happened from the other games, from the other two, from the two games from the previous round. Outside of that, it's nothing to talk about except the Super Bowl. So again, I'd love to get on and do, you know, um, Joe Bap, don't worry about it, bro. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get it done now if I can. Remember, I ain't even do a Super Bowl fifth quarter when you made it. Like, listen, sometimes it's just gonna y'all just gonna roll and y'all gonna just keep the momentum going. You know what I mean? Like y'all not gonna wait. You see Buffalo play me at 12:30 at midnight, then he played 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like that's two games he played in the course of an hour. You know what I mean? So everybody not gonna wait, like so there is no perfect time, to be in it. If it matches up and it aligns, then cool, let's get it. but with me saying that though, you think Raiders and Eagles, if they make the bowl, you think they're gonna sit up here and say, nah, let's not play yet until Q get us on the live? Nah, I know you are. I know you are, Bat. But I just try to, always bring something more to the league to keep it flowing, keep it running smoothly. You know, listen, let me just say this too before I sign off. The AGS league never got generated because we never still got at least 28 users. We only had like I think I think we was at like 25 or something like that. That's too many CPU teams. I mean, I was down to start the league if it was 28 users, four CPU teams. All right, cool, we could get around that. But when you start talking six, seven CPU teams, no, that's too many, But I would have definitely kicked it off, you know what I'm saying? But it never, you know, so I had to just leave it where it was at. But y'all enjoy y'all day, man, and I'll see you on the next fifth. Hopefully it's the Super Bowl fifth, and I'm out.